Okay, it is August 25th, 2015. Good morning, everybody. This is a special wake up and smell the coffee call. We have B, the Guerrilla Economist on the call. People have heard from him before. He's got a strong background. He's an economist. He basically has been on a radio show with over 3 million listeners every Friday and is a strong contributor out there, very recognizable. And he's done a lot of radio shows, and he's on this call this morning. There's a lot going on with the economy, and we usually try to get V just to come on the call and kind of share everything that's going on to get the big global picture. And there's so much going on in the past week that we're just going to go ahead and see if V is with us. V, good morning.
Good morning, Dave. It's great to be on. How are you?
It's great to have you. And I tell you what, yesterday, and I really want to dig into the global stock market and China with what's going on, because there's all kinds of fingers being pointed here for the last 3 or 4 days. I'm just going to tell you what happened. I was talking to one of our people, one of our affiliates, and he just informed me he was going to, put some more money in gold with Karatbars, and he basically said he pulled out $150,000 last week. And 2 days later, he just watched the prices of the stocks. He would have lost $30,000 if he would have waited 2 more days to pull that money out. What is going on here with the stock markets in the United States, but also around the world in China?
The whole factor that people need to understand is this. We are on the last legs of this thing that's been dying since 2008 that we fraudulently call an economy. Folks, we don't have an economy. That's the first thing that people need to wake up and realize. You do not have an economy. Simple, and I'll tell you why. When you have a central bank, when you have a quote-unquote economy that's so dependent upon the central bank for the maintaining of the country's stock market, you don't have an economy. When you have a real estate market that's so dependent upon a central bank in order to buy what's called mortgage-backed securities to keep the home prices artificially high, you don't have an economy. When you have a central bank that is going ahead and is the number one buyer of your nation's debt, and then uses that debt to hide it in various other places throughout the world, you do not have an economy. When you have a government that lies to you, when almost 94 million Americans are permanently unemployed, meaning they can't even find a job, they gave up. 10.6 million are on unemployment benefits, and the government lies to you and says, oh, unemployment rate fell again, it's only 5.3%. You don't have an economy. And so we've been running this Ponzi scheme, Dave, for the last, 30, 40 years. And now it's coming to a head, right? And we're seeing the global reverberations of what's going on within the United States stock market. A lot of these talking head idiots on CNBC, MSLSD, all these other alphabet news channels will tell you, oh, the investors are spooked because of what's going on in China. No, that's not what's spooking real investors. That's not what's spooking the real movers and shakers. What's spooking the real movers and shakers is not China, it's the Fed. It's the Fed policies, okay? So these things, folks, are coming to a head. The wheels are coming off this machine. Yesterday was a massive wake-up call. Friday we had a 500-point beatdown. We had another 500-point beatdown yesterday. I was watching the bloodletting in Asia. I'm working on very little sleep, and I knew that today there's going to be it's going to be peaches and cream today, because I knew the plunge protection team is going to be working overtime, and then right before the market were open, they instituted Rule 48, which makes it easier for the stocks to be traded without any sort of pricing and volatility that goes along with it. Okay, the only time they've ever done that was twice in stock market history. So I knew everything's going to be peaches and cream. So you see, in other words, the market is so dependent on fraud and manipulation. It can't stand on its own legs. That should scare the heck out of you, okay? That's what's going on in the world. The things that are going on in China, I mean, there's a lot of things going on in China, okay? But I'll tell you one thing, okay? Does China have a bubble in the stock market? Absolutely. I've been saying it for years, okay? But I've also been saying for the longest time, they knew they were going to, prop up some bubbles. They knew in order for them to expand their economy to surpass the United States and get certain things done, certain bubbles would have to be made. And they went ahead and they created them. okay? But at the same time, they knew these bubbles would burst. And the way you inoculate yourself from an economic bubble bursting is that you go on a buying spree of hard assets. And that's what the Chinese have been doing for the last couple of years. They've been buying hard assets at a feverish clip, especially gold. So I kind of laughed, Dave, about 3 weeks ago when when the Chinese said, we only got 1,650 metric tons of gold. I fell off my chair laughing because the real number is over 20,000 metric tons. They're keeping those numbers artificially low. They know they have to do this in order to counter what the United States is doing. To the U.S., they'll tell you, we got 8,000 metric tons of gold in Fort Knox. I promise you we don't have an ounce of gold in Fort Knox, okay? We don't have much of anything except for whatever gold we've stolen from other nations. I'm sorry if that's politically incorrect, but that's how the way we operate, okay? So the way you get around this paper implosion is to insulate yourself with hard assets. So you see the East, you see a lot of the emerging economies, you see the Russians doing this. Everybody's doing this except for the West. And in the West, you see the most cancerous toxicity of all the financial paper fraud that they've been committing for the last couple of years is really beginning to fester. Now, China does have problems, but you have to remember its debt is not held outside of this country, number one. And number two, its debt is a cyclical problem. It's something that can be flushed out through a couple of bankruptcies, a couple of implosions here and there, whereas our problem is not cyclical. It's systemic. And that's the biggest difference, folks.
Okay, I got to ask you, B, I'm going to come right out there and it's been said and reported on the news that even a retirement account took a 1% hit for the average person that had a retirement account set up with stocks last week. Yep. What is the solution? Because prediction, is it going to continue to plummet? Is this something that's going to go away in the next week or two? Or can you kind of just give us what's really going on as far as the next couple months?
I mean, the next couple of months are going to be really critical. All right. One of the things I predicted over a year ago is that come this fall, this September, going through November, the United States dollar, okay, is going to be completely undermined. And what I mean by undermined, it doesn't mean it's going to be the end of the dollar. No, not the end of the dollar. But what I'm saying undermined is its prestige as world reserve currency, its prestige as the petrodollar is going to be greatly tarnished. And I think we're heading towards that. Nobody's buying U.S. debt, okay? See, folks, let me tell you something about a Ponzi scheme. Your Ponzi scheme works so long as you have willing idiots that are willing to buy into the scheme. Newer and newer idiots that come into it and start buying into the scheme that you're selling. That's how a Ponzi scheme works. It stops working as soon as you run out of willing idiots. Well, I'll tell you right now, there's nobody buying U.S. debt. The Chinese ain't buying it. The Russians ain't buying it. The biggest buyers of U.S. debt are actually are net sellers of U.S. debt. So who's buying U.S. debt? Well, it happens to be the Federal Reserve. How long do you think that can go on? Not much longer, okay? So when you take that into account, you take into account that what's happening in the Middle East and with Russia as well and China, they're all working cohesively to reprice oil in non-dollar terms, whether those non-dollar terms are either the emergence of a petro-yuan or what they've beta tested and seem to already work is a gold trade settlement note. If you don't believe me, just Google Iran, India, Turkey, oil agreement or energy agreement, where the Indians and the Turks were buying Iranian oil, and they were settling in gold terms. Okay, so all these things that kept us riding high on the hog, world reserve currency status and petrodollar, is being done away with. Nobody wants this nonsense anymore. And the fact that also that we're no longer, what's the word I'm looking for? We're vetted. Okay, we are absolutely vetted as the source of all the stock market fraud. We're vetted as the source of all the bond fraud. We're vetted as the source of all the mortgage fraud. We're vetted as a source of a lot of the, what is the word I'm looking for? A lot of the wars and conflicts that are occurring throughout the world. We're being vetted for all of it. Okay, I mean, who's behind Ukraine? Oh, it's Russia. No, it's not. It's us. We spent $5 billion out of, whatever, Christina Nuland's own mouth of overthrowing overthrowing a democratically elected Ukrainian government. But that's nothing new, folks. We've overthrown over 30 some odd quote-unquote democratically elected governments in the last 50 years. It's what we do. It's the old stupid British gunboat diplomacy model that we carry on today. But the world's waking up to that. And because of that, the world's like, hey, you know what? We don't want your dollar, and we don't want to deal with you because your dollar comes with strings attached. So that's the issue that's going on, and we are losing this thing on a rapid clip, Dave. I can't even keep up with it all.
They called yesterday Black Monday, and just looking this morning, the Shanghai Composite Index dropped 3,000 more points, and the news is saying $5 trillion wiped off of share prices of global stocks since August 11th. So this spiral that we're in, and you're saying it's not going to get better, what is the correct thing to do for people to have money in stocks, and when is the time to pull out and purchase gold?
Well, the time to pull out and purchase gold was a long time ago. But this is the only game, folks. Let me tell you something. The only exploit you have as an American, as a debt slave to this nation, the only exploit you have, the only lever you have to pull in this game is gold. I'm sorry. There's no other way to do it. When I look at large institutional investors, that's what they're doing. When I look at sovereigns or countries, what are they doing to prepare for a de-dollarized world? What are they doing to prepare for a dollar crash? They're buying gold. So if they're buying gold, what the heck are you doing? Opening up an IRA? You're rolling over your 401k. You want to go to Edward Jones, Charles Schwab, and open up a new investment account? How about E-Trade? You want to get one of those? Are you kidding me? This is not the time for that. The time right now is the smart money is moving out. Fools, remember that old saying, Dave? Fools rush in where angels fear to tread. And that's what we're seeing happening in the market. The market is totally driven on fraud. High-frequency trading computers. Most folks don't know this, but 80% of trades that are done in the stock market here in New York. In fact, the stock market is really not here in New York. It's actually across the river in Jersey with these high-frequency trading, server farms that are right across the river. So 80% of all trades are computer to computer with no human involvement, done in milliseconds. Okay? The rest is all window dressing. The rest is, then you have the manipulations by the Fed, all sorts of regulations that favor the big financial firms at the detriment to the investor. So how is this a fair environment? So you can go on and get along and get high off the fact, hey, I'm making money. Yeah, you could. Anybody who bought Apple last night, yesterday, and you're buying Apple on the on the rebound, you made some money. Okay, but the fact is, in the long term, you're going to be caught with your pants down. In the long term, this thing is going to implode. You don't have an economy. I mean, think about it. What the heck was the Dow doing at 18,000 points in the first place when you had 93.7 million people permanently unemployed, 101 million people on welfare, 52 million on food stamps, 10.6 million receiving unemployment benefits? Okay, the GDP contracting annually between 3.4 and 4%, inflation unofficially over 9%. What the heck is the Dow doing at 18,000 points? It's disconnect. It's not based on reality. And that's what people need to get here, Dave. It's not based on reality. So the time to buy gold is now. If you're not doing it now, I feel sorry for you.
And I just got to come out there, and I know you do a radio show every Friday night with 3 million listeners, and people really like to hear how much on the inside as far as, and I know you can't give financial advice on this call, but how much have you been on the inside as far as seeing what's going on, this building up to this second bubble that we've had here in the last decade? Can you kind of share with us?
Yeah,
no, respecting your privacy. Yeah, please.
Sure, absolutely. I've been watching this thing closely since 2007. Seeing the fraud, what occurred, I blew the whistle on a lot of things, and of course, the investment bank that I was working in back then, they gave me the boot because I was vocal about it. But I knew this thing was far in coming because back even in 2006, we incorporated and allowed high-frequency trading computers, which really skewed the numbers. We've allowed all the derivatives to pour in. Okay, folks? I mean, derivatives are crazy. It's a bet placed on top of a bet, placed on top of a bet, placed on top of a bet. Leverage 30, 40, 50, 100 times, okay? This whole entire thing is just rife with fraud. It is terrible. So I've been watching it closely since 2007, and I knew that it will not be long. I knew that within the next, 5 to 10 years, this thing will be coming apart. And sure enough, it absolutely is. One of the things I talked about is oil prices hitting below $40 a barrel. And we're there. We're already here. I mean, nobody would have believed that, but here we are, and this thing is really coming apart. And I'm telling you right now, all right, people look at the Eurozone, and you look at the Greek debt crisis. Folks, let me tell you this. Countries that are prospering in the world right now are the ones that are de-dollarizing and or are the ones that are outside of the Eurozone. Those economies are actually thriving. So there's a message being sent. I talk about the BRICS, and, there are some problems in the BRICS, right? But, again, their problems are not systemic, okay? The BRICS are Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. It's called the BRICS Alliance. It's a non-dollar union. It's a club that's outside of the Western sphere of influence, but people think it's just those 5 countries. Now, recent numbers puts the BRICS at about 135 countries. So all these things are happening. I know the handwriting's on the door. It's only a matter of time, Dave. And you know what? We don't have that much time left. That much sure I can tell you.
Well, a lot of people headed into gold, and I know that you're very familiar and you're an affiliate with Karatbars, so I'm just going to ask you to come on out and share the benefits of anyone that's serious, that's got money in the market, and they're going to pull it out, and they're going to go ahead and buy gold. Do you recommend that with Karatbars, and why?
I absolutely recommend that with Karatbars, and I'll tell you why. Again, before I got involved in Karatbars, I was partnered with various brokerages, and what we would do is we'd simply work in what's called a good delivery network. And the good delivery network was something that's outside of the banking system. Okay, so because it's outside of the banking system, you're free from any sort of third-party counter risk, okay? And the good delivery system, it's a network of brokers, refiners, bullion banks, and vaulting companies. So whenever a client of mine needed gold, the minimum investment was 150 grand, and and I've done multi-million-dollar deals. If they needed $150,000 worth of gold, or $1 million, or $2 million, or $5 million worth of gold, we'd simply call up the refiner, and this is an LBMA certified refiner. We don't use Jimmy John's coin and carry in Chattanooga, whatever, but we use an LBMA certified refiner. There's less than 50 in the whole world, and the LBMA certified refiner would melt down the gold, give it to us on a gold bar. 2 kilos is the new standard, with serial number, the whole 9 yards, and we take that gold, and it's transported logistically. No human hands really touch it, and it's delivered into a vaulting facility. And the vaulting facility, it's secured, it's bonded against all theft, all loss, outside of the banking system. So no government, no bank, nothing, no financial firm. There's no debt attached to it, and it's held safe and secure either in Switzerland, Singapore, or Hong Kong. Those are the 3 jurisdictions that we deal with. I've been doing that for years. And then through much prodding by a Karatbars member who kept telling me, hey, V, take a look at this, take a look at this, take a look at this, I said, okay, fine. You know what? I'm going to take a look at this Karatbars business. And I realized Karatbars is doing the same thing. But instead of having a $150,000 minimum investment, you can come on board for as little as a few $100 and be able to start getting LBMA certified gold. You could have it vaulted in a safe, secure location. You could have it delivered to you, okay, to your front door safely and securely. Or you could have it liquidated and have the cash value put onto a card. And I said to myself, my God, this is the same thing that we're doing on a larger scale, but this is available for Joe Public. And on top of that, you get paid? You get paid to do this? I said, let me sign up. That's what got me involved in Karatbars. It's because this is a micro-level system of what we're doing on a larger scale. And I thought it was the most brilliant thing in the world, Dave, and there was no questions about it. And once I realized that, Karatbars is LBMA certified gold, folks, you can't get an LBMA cert. You know what that means? That means the LBMA, the London Bullion Market Association, went through your refinery with a fine-tooth comb. So many testing, so much regulations in order for you to get that. And Karatbars deals with an LBMA certified refiner. I thought, this is the purest gold you're going to buy. This is And then you have all those wonderful security features on the card where, you could vault it. You could, type in those serial numbers on it, and you can tell where that gold was refined. I mean, this is amazing, amazing stuff. And I said, you know what, I'm signed on board because it's again one of the best exploits for you as the average American that you could participate in. There's no doubt about it.
And I got to tell you, V, I want to thank you for your valuable time. I know you got a schedule that's tight, and for making time to come out here and share with us. Basically, I want to wrap it up with your advice to all of us. There's over 300 people listening to this call, and I know there's a lot going on. People are nervous about the stock markets, not just in the United States, but worldwide. So your strong advice as far as where we're headed here.
I mean, where we're headed, folks, we don't have a lot of time in this. Okay, first thing what people need to do is stop listening to the lies. If you're watching mainstream news, I'm sorry. Then if you're watching them and believing them, then you deserve what's going to happen to you. I'm sorry to sound harsh. I'm upfront. I'm honest. I'm a nice guy, but I'm going to give it to you straight. No BS. Okay. Start doing some research. Okay. Start realizing you're being lied to, and start realizing the wheels on this thing are coming apart. This charade, this fraud that we've been perpetrating for this long cannot continue much longer. And a lot of the experts are putting in a time frame here that's not really, it's really within the next 18 to 24 months, anything could happen. And the scariest thing is, economically speaking, Dave, we're at a point where we're hanging on by a string, okay, but we're hanging on by a thread. The fact that, when somebody says, we could have a market crash in the next 18 to 24 months, that doesn't scare me. What scares me is that we're hanging on by a thread. That fact that we're hanging on by a thread should get everybody nervous, because anything could happen. And when I look at the global world stage right now, all I see is triggers. All over the world, all we need is one event, and this thing goes pop. That's how fragile the system is right now. It's that fragile. All you need is one event, and life as you know it changes forever. And when this thing does collapse, with our real debt being 225 trillion plus, there is no coming back. There's going to be a lot of pain for a lot of people, and the only way you can inoculate yourself against that is with hard assets like gold, like Karatbars. So that's where we are, folks.
Strong words, and we know there's manipulation with gold, and the last time you did a call, it's been over a month ago. I think the gold was down quite a bit compared to what it is. Have we turned the corner, so to speak, as far as gold? Is it going to continue, in your expert opinion, to go up?
It will absolutely go up. Folks, you got to understand who the criminals are behind the gold price setting. First of all, they're being investigated by Interpol. They're being invested by some serious regulatory agencies and enforcement agencies. Okay, the criminals behind the gold price fraud are the European and American banks. They don't want high gold prices because it makes their currencies look bad. Okay, so this is going to change. Now you got to also understand this. The question you got to ask yourself is this: why are countries that have no gold, United States, London, France, Italy, why are these countries that have no gold, why are they involved in the gold price fix? Why are they involved in the pricing of gold when they have no gold? It sounds stupid, right? The good news is that the Chinese have taken, and they're going to be launching their own gold price fix this September. Okay? And when that thing goes live, it's not just the Chinese. It's multiple other countries that are involved in that new Chinese gold price fix. Once that goes live, because they're not fixing the price on paper like what we do in the West. It's all paper fraud and manipulation. They're actually taking physical assets. That's a game changer. And when that thing goes live this fall, and I think by winter we're going to start seeing a major turn in the price of gold, and it's going to be a steady climb. And I predict that probably getting close to this coming summer, I think gold is going to be over $3,000 an ounce easy.
Excellent, V. I want to thank you for coming out and just sharing everything from the heart and unfiltered. And basically, a lot of what you're sharing with us is we're seeing it happen every day on the news. So I want to thank you for being part of this call and appreciate your time. And Nadine, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. And this call is recorded. It will be available. And you guys make it a great day. Nadine?
That's it, guys. I have no announcements till tomorrow morning. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Thank you so much, V, for taking the time. 3 million listeners, guys. One of the global economists and strategists you need to be listening to. So thank you, everybody. Make it a great day. This call is a wrap. It's available on replay.